question I've never asked before.
Okay.
Does the tractor driver on the hayride sync the music for the speaker system as he's going from scene to scene?
So absolutely. So what happens with the hayride is it's a time soundtrack.
Right.
So they're on an interval. So there's a light tree there that tells them when to go. So depending on how many tractors we have in the path, determines what the interval is between leaving.
Okay.
So then what happens is as soon as the driver leaves, he presses the play button. And they train, weeks ahead of time to follow that soundtrack.
Okay.
So there's sound cues on that soundtrack. As they drive, they know, oh, the owl is hooting, I better be at the oak tree, for example.
Okay, I got you.
Or this explosion happens, I'm supposed to leave.
Right.
And they have to stay on that. It's basically putting them on, a monorail system that they're always at the exact spacing between each other, because the next driver then leaves in 2.5 minutes and they stay spaced out that way. So,
okay.
Yeah, it takes some time to train and get it down right, but it makes the system perfect.
Yeah, I was just wondering if they flipped a switch when they hit the next scene or something.
No,
like there was
no,
a
no,
set of
because
things, so I thought
otherwise
they never screwed that up.
Yeah, if they did that, then they would get off track.
Right.
That would allow them to speed up, slow down, and it'd be a mess. So once they start that soundtrack, there's no turning back.
All right.
As the soundtrack says. The question is how the doors work. So what happens with the doors? For safety, the actors are looking through a peephole. And when the tractor pulls in, they make sure that the tractor is in the right position to close the door. So they close the door manually. The show is already starting because they've run over another sensor at that scene. The doors are on the show to open. So whether or not they close them manually or they don't close them at all, the program says open the door at the end of the show every single time. How are we maintaining a safe environment and handling social distancing? We're following all the CDC guidelines is what we're doing. So basically we have every other queue line set up. So when you go into the attractions, you're no longer side by side waiting in line.
Right.
It can't hold as many people in the queue line, but it's every other queue line, so you're always separated. You also have the ability to be 6 feet apart, from the group in front of you and in back of you as well.
Right.
In the queue lines, once you finally get to the compounds, we have orange tape on the floor, so you can stand on it's basically like the dots at the grocery store to follow.
Okay.
As far as time ticketing, the necromancer's going on, so we're gonna have some competition with volume. But the way the way the ticketing works is you have to buy your ticket online ahead of time and pick a predetermined time slot.
Right.
Once it's sold out, it's sold out. You need to go to another time slot in order to get it. Then when you get in line at the ticket booth, there's an aisle for every time slot that's available, and they're separated. So the first aisle is 5 o'clock. The next one's 9 o'clock. The one after that is 5:30, and then 9:30, then 6, then 10. That way, you're never beside another group in line. So you're separated there as well.
That's pretty slick.
In our picnic area, in our food area, we have signs on all the tables that say 15-minute time limit. I have a guy there regulating that area. If you're sitting there and wasting space, we ask you to please move on, so there's someone that would like to eat some food can sit down in the food area. Everyone has to have a mask on. If you cannot wear a mask, you cannot come. Ma'am, please put your mask on. Thank you.
Perfect example.
Everyone has to have a mask on. Security's enforcing wearing a mask. If you're sitting and eating a food, obviously you don't have a mask on at that time.
Right.
But that's a huge deal. It's no joke. You have to do it. We have plexiglass up at any interaction area, like at the ticket booth or at the ticket takers or at the Scream Shop. You have the ability to be behind plexiglass. We have touchless hand sanitizer stations, about 20 of them.
Which you've had for years, actually.
We do, but we have more of them now. They're all throughout the park, so you have the ability to get hand sanitizer all the time. So the main thing is we cut our capacity in under half, and we are selling out. If you want a ticket to Field of Screams this year, you better go and buy it online now, because every single night will sell out.
And the funny thing is the weather is really conducive this year to get people to come out early.
It's crazy. It was the hottest summer on record.
Right.
In the 90s, every day. I was so sick of it. And now it's like fall happened like that. It was 41 degrees last night.
Switch.
I actually went from shorts and no shirt to a sweatshirt and a winter hat. It was crazy.
Yeah.